God, the UI is being really weird. Why can I only click on some of these? It's so annoying. Oh, I don't have enough. Oh, shoot. 42, 46. Okay. I've got enough reputation. I don't have enough profit factor. Alright.
Patience! My nerves are frayed!
It still sucks that when we were forced to kill Adira, we were not able to loot the staff she had because we never found another one since then, like 60 hours later. Well, we have talked to the governor again. Let's go see if she's there. I worry that maybe she's gone now because we already did the governor's quest. But I guess I'll find out in a minute. I'm reminded right now of when I played Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. I was really late in the game at one point, and then someone says, "Where's Ember?" And I was like, "Who's Ember?" And they said, "Ember. She's like the girl who likes fire. You meet her at the beginning of the game. She's a companion." I was like, "What? No, I never met her." And they're like, she's getting in a fight in an alley, and you save her. I was like, I never found that alley. And so I found out there was a party member with like a whole quest line, voice acting through the whole game, and I completely missed them, and never ended up meeting them. I just found out about them, like, from other people telling me about them. Alright, see, warehouse. Alright, Martyr's Endurance. Dragon Age Inquisition has stuff like that, too, where, if you don't, before the end of Chapter 1, if you don't meet, was it Vivienne and the elf girl that's kind of like a redneck, you can't have them join your party if you don't get them by the end of Act 1. Jester says, I just realized I've been walking around with the Salt Forge Mist Diamond this whole time. I've wasted some of the Shards of Glory. Maybe you just liked diamonds that day.
Curiosity
Octaviana.
sings
I don't see
in
the
my
other person.
veins.
There's Gorday. There's yeah, I don't see her.
They will see. Oh yes, indeed.
I wonder if she's gone. Alright, I'm actually going to look it up. See, Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader Companions. Jay Haydari the Cold Trader. Okay, this is no good. Let's try this other wiki. Okay, it was in fact the lady that stormed out of the governor's place when I first got there. I had no idea she could join you. She can be found as you head to Footfall for the first time. She can be seen arguing with the Liege and immediately grants players the persona non grata quest. You have to head to the bar that can be found in the shadow quarters of Footfall. After a scene, she'll ask the retreater for help. Accept and complete Wanted on Footfall. Persona non grata or Wanted on Footfall. Persona non grata. Quest failed. Find the disgraced stranger in the Adeptus Amassicus bar and Footfall Shadow Quarter. It says failed. Did you get her killed? No, I just never saw her again. So she said meet me there, and I guess I just didn't do it in time.
My nerves are frayed.
I assume I had to do it before doing something else, and I didn't do that. That's the thing, is that when you have like 100 quests, you don't know which ones are like, you know, you're gonna fail this if you don't do this other thing first. Bummer. Also got a minor spoiler while trying to find her information online. I saw 2 other companions I haven't met yet. One of them I was pretty confident was going to be a thing, because it's this guy that's on the cover art. But then there's another one that was a bit of a surprise. Oh, have I not been here? The container's marked foodstuffs, but it's empty, and by the looks of it, it's not moving in a while.
One step at a time, amidst the madness.
Access has been granted to the following options: information exchange, strengthening of diplomatic skills, trade deals, and donations. Show the data slate. I've collected planetary data that may interest you. With a respectful nod, the tech priest takes the data slate. The collected data is of interest, significant, compliant with the criteria for cooperation. The Cognizance fleet thanks you for your contribution and guarantees the provision of a reciprocal service indulgence in the form of parts and equipment. Profit factor gained. Reporting, the Kappa Thread supply line is ready to continue cooperation with the Von Valancius dynasty in the sphere of planetary reconnaissance. Make a deal. Oh, extractiomes, machine right set, stem, medkit, plasma pistol. Using reload for any weapon costs 1 less AP. Precise lasgun. Okay. Where's Pascal? Plasma. Let's see, he's 11 to 15. This is 15 to 19. Slightly shorter range, though. Okay. Is this a Warhammer version of Baldur's Gate? It is a CRPG, a classic RPG, similar, which is, you know, it's in the same genre as Baldur's Gate 3, but this was made by the same people who did Pathfinder Kingmaker and Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, so it plays a little bit more closely to those. Let's see, Ancient Force Sword, 14 to 20 plus additional psi rating damage. Lose 10 parry. No, we're gonna keep that as it is. Isn't CRPG a computer role-playing game? Honestly curious. I've always thought it was classic RPG. Once per turn, when the wearer scores a critical hit with a pistol, the next attack with the pistol costs 0 AP. When the wielder attacks with any ranged weapon at a 1-cell range, that attack also inflicts bleeding. I think you need a feat to even do that. Because, usually, it won't let you attack in melee range with a gun. 10 strength. What's this? Plus a weapon skill 5 strength.
There will be no peace
Alright,
in
well,
my wake.
that's a bummer. So we failed that quest. Cassia is asked to the Lord Captain to discuss the event. Okay, so I need to talk to multiple people in the ship now.
What lies beyond?
You can shoot with pistols and shotguns in melee range. Pistols are the expectation of shotguns. I guess I think most of my experience with ranged weapons this game so far has been bolters and las guns, and I think they trigger the attack of opportunity. The only CRPG I played is Divinity 1 and 2. Loved it. I didn't know CRPG was a genre. Oh yeah. So okay, I guess in my mind, a CRPG is like a game that it's you design your character. Maybe you control the character or a whole party. You control inventory. There's combat skills. There's also like dialogue skills, like diplomacy, things like that. They often have many ways of handling a situation. Like each quest will have multiple outcomes, not just one outcome. There's usually either a lot of talking or reading, balancing out the combat, stuff like that. So, like some that I've played, Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 definitely qualify. Oh, it's usually turn-based also. It's usually turn-based. Pathfinder Kingmaker, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, Rogue Trader, Baldur's Gate 3, Baldur's Gate 2, Baldur's Gate 1, Neverwinter Nights, the whole Neverwinter series, not counting the MMO. Pillars of Eternity was a really good one as well. Deadfire, Fallout 1 and 2 then. If those, I didn't play Fallout 1 and 2, if those were turn-based, then yeah, that would qualify. Oh yeah, Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura, absolutely. Icewind Dale, yes. Planescape I haven't played, so I couldn't say on that one, but I'll trust you on that one. Let's see. Argenta and Cass want to talk.
Greetings.
I'm waiting for you to tell me about your past and explain the strange words of the cultist on Footfall.
Yes, I'm ready. I would ask only one thing of you, Rogue Trader. If I may, I would like to see the chamber of the Sacred Warrant and kneel before the relic touched by the Emperor himself. A difficult conversation lies ahead of us, and I wish to pray by the relic before I lay my soul bare.
Oh, painful. I have to get stabbed in the arm in order for that door to open. Alright, let's go. She nods gratefully. We haven't seen this thing since the beginning of the game. That massive scroll up there. That is the warrant of trade. That massive piece of paper is what lets me do anything I want. Argenta drops to her knees, her hands making the sign of the Aquila. Her eyes are locked on the sweeping signature on the warrant, a seemingly mundane thing, merely a flourish on a piece of paper, unless one knows whose hand left that mark and whose blood is on that paper. It wasn't even the Emperor who signed it, was it? Wasn't it just like one of his, like, his top people? Because he's just, like, unconscious on the throne. If thou seest a flaw in me, smite me. If thou knowest a fall of mine, burn me with flames of fury and righteousness. But if thou seest a light in me, grace me. If thou hearest this plea of mine, bless me with wrath of fury and of righteousness. Argenta's voice is sonorous, as if made for singing hymns and prayers, but right now she cannot seem to catch her breath, so overwhelmed with emotion is she. For I breathe by the will of thine, for I live by the law of thine. I carry thy word, O Emperor. I bring solace to servants of thine, and ruins to those of foes of thine, a fate of terror and righteousness. Upon finishing, she closes her eyes and remains silent for a long time with her head raised high. Slowly, like the first licks of flame in a campfire, a smile blossoms on her lips. It's not like he was signed since he was born. Well, no, they specifically said in the story earlier that, the warrant was made by his servants, and servants make mistakes. That was actually said earlier. I know he wasn't born in a coma. It's supposed to be signed by Malkador or the Emperor if it's one of the OG warrants. The writ was signed during the Great Crusade before the Emperor was interred in his throne. Oh, okay. I was under the impression rogue traders were like made up after he got trapped in the throne. Because there was that one guy earlier that says the emperor's not, who was it, the priest? He said the emperor is not who trusted you, it was his people that did, and people make mistakes. When Argenta finally opens her eyes, they are alight with uncanny resolution. Rogue trader, we need to talk, or rather I need to tell you something. The truth. The truth about how I ended up on Theodora von Valancius' ship, and about the cultists we encountered on Footfall. I am listening. Please understand, I couldn't trust you before. I'll tell you my story and you'll see why. She pauses. I'll start at the beginning. It's easier to piece everything together that way. Upon arriving in the Expanse and on Footfall, I found no purpose here, only torment. I wasn't needed. The reliquary I had been assigned to safeguard was already well protected by Reverend Hieronymus' mission, and no one was even trying to defile it. For all its lawlessness, Footfall respects the worship of the Emperor. That was when Lady Theodora, head of your dynasty, appeared. She became an agent of divine will, in a way. Argenta falters, searching for the words. It was from her that I learned about a planet recently discovered by her scouts, Salus Prime. For a rogue trader, the planet was of little interest, a feral world away from the convenient warp routes. But for me, learning about its existence was a revelation. I've never heard of such a planet. Does it belong to the Von Valancius dynasty? Yes, now that the planet is yours by right, but it's not as simple as that. The warp route leading to it was lost. I will explain in due time. May I continue? Please. The description of Salus Prime was familiar to me. It seemed very similar to a world from ancient legend, the legend of Saint Argenta and her ship. Her voice grows reverent. Argenta the Living Saint is my patroness. The Order named me after her. She died millennia ago when heretics caused her ship to fall from the skies. But even those blasphemers could not touch Argenta's ashes or her holy relic, the One Star. For the fallen ship, which has now served as the resting place for the saint's remains, only one would only allow the truly righteous to enter. All others would meet their death. Imagine what I felt when this flash of insight came upon me. The world where Saint Argenta's ship fell was merely a vague legend. No one knew its actual whereabouts. Suddenly, I myself, named after the saint, come across this information. I realized at that moment that it was a portent. I must journey to the planet and find the ship. So I asked Reverend Hieronymus to let me go for a time on a personal pilgrimage. I boarded Theodora's ship and demanded passage to the newly discovered planet Salus Prime. She demanded passage. I imagine Theodora was thrilled with the prospect. Lady Theodora lent her assistance. It was her intention to visit the newly discovered world, and she took me with her. You mentioned something called the One Star. What is it? Apologies, I got so carried away I forgot to explain. The One Star is the relic kept by Saint Argenta. I belong to the order Pronatus, and we attach particular significance to holy relics. The One Star is one of the lost relics of the past, so mysterious that no one even knows what it is exactly. Argenta's hagiography at times calls it a banner, or a set of armor, or a blessed chainsword. One thing is certain, it was a beacon of righteousness, and it was lost with Argenta's death. It was like a pet rock. Why did you keep your supposition from Reverend Hieronymus? Surely he could have helped you with the search for the ship and the saint's remains. I couldn't just come out and tell him. It was a portent revealed to me personally, can't you see? I told Reverend Hieronymus the honest truth. I was going on a personal pilgrimage to embolden my spirit. It really was a pilgrimage. It was as if Saint Argenta herself had shown me the way, commanding me to undertake this trial. If I had found the ship and set foot on its decks, if I had laid my hand on her remains and the relic, it would have been a sign that I truly had been blessed with the saint's favor. I feel that was irresponsible of you. If you had gotten yourself killed on the planet, no one would have learned about its existence and the holy relic would have been lost. Holy relics cannot be truly lost, she says stubbornly. When the time is right, they reveal themselves to the worthy, but I will accept this reproach and try my best to think on it. Next! Defeat, she says bitterly. The ship's augurs failed to detect something of note during orbital scanning. I was expecting this, though. According to the legend, the ship can conceal itself from the naked eye, and only a pilgrim guided by a pure heart can find it. What I didn't expect was an ambush waiting for us on the planet. I landed there with a small unit provided by Theodora. I know St. Argenta's hagiography by heart. I know all the legends about her. I followed their obscure clues, the descriptions of mountains and rivers from millennia-old times, and I was certain that I had found my way to the ship. That's when we were attacked. The words we heard in the heretic shrine on Footfall, something about ways, doors, please, addressed to some lord, the edge of daybreak. Argenta is shaking with disgust. They were the same words as those spoken by the cultists who attacked us on Salus Prime. My whole unit perished. All those honest, brave people had led to search for the relic. It was only by a miracle I didn't perish along with them. I didn't connect these events at first. The cultists on Footfall, the cultists on Salus Prime, the cultists attacking the ship, and Kunrad's betrayal. What if these are all links in the same chain? What if they've long since infiltrated the ranks of the Von Valancia's servants? What if I led those heretics to the sacred planet with my search? And that is why you didn't trust me before, correct? Yes, Rogue Trader. She looks you in the eye. I saw with my own eyes how a member of your family showed his true colors as a servant of the archenemy. I had already suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of cultists and was afraid of another betrayal. I couldn't be forthright with you, and so I studied you, looking for seeds of corruption or the light of righteousness. And what did you find? A man who stood shoulder to shoulder with me and helped eradicate the cultists on Footfall. She smiles, as if reminiscing about a pleasant evening spent in the company of friends rather than a bloody battle. Although my opinion of you started to change even before then, back when you agreed to talk to the orphans at my request. A leader who's willing to honor those who laid down their lives for them and take care of their children is a leader who inspires trust, and the way you acted in that moment. Do you remember? There was a young man whose grief and confusion had driven him to insolence. Yeah. You found the words that could comfort him. You didn't punish him, didn't scare him with a show of austerity. You even admitted that you were not all-powerful. It surprised me. I even saw it as weakness at first, but after giving it some thought, I saw the wisdom in it. The way you openly address the thoughtless boy does you credit, Rogue Trader. So just to clarify, you were wounded, so you never found St. Argenta's ship, is that right? Yes. I rushed to Theodora the moment I could walk again, but I insisted on going back to Salus Prime to defend the relic from the heretics. But I was told that the warp had destroyed the old route to the planet and that plotting a new one would take a great deal of time and effort. As if there could be anything more important than protecting the faith and hunting down servants of the archenemy. In any event, the route was lost and all knowledge of it died in the attack on the ship along with the old navigator. But now we have a new lead, the data that we collected in the cultist shrine on Footfall. I don't care what the reprobate we executed said, that must be a way to track them down. Tell me, Rogue Trader, will you help me in this undertaking? Will you help me find this great relic and return to the people of the Imperium? If the accursed Final Dawn is involved again, it is my duty to help you. That cult must be reduced to ashes throughout the entire Coronis expanse. She walks up and places her hand on your shoulder. So be it, Rogue Trader. As I stand here before the warrant, the embodiment of the Emperor's will marked by his own hand, I vow that I will not relent until the holy relic has been returned and the heretics punished. And may the light be with us both on this path. Man. First date, killing people. Second date, in front of the warrant. In front of the paper signed by the guy that she thinks about. Yeah, it's like that meme. It's like you versus the guy she says not to worry about, and the guy that she says not to worry about is just a mucking emperor. Ugh. And it's funny because they're very different. Because like Cassia, if you wanna try to romance Cassia, you gotta do flowers and no hand holding. You know, it's like you gotta be prim and proper to a fault. But Argenta, you know, feed some orphans and go murder some people, and it's like, woo, date night. Alright. Cassia.
It is so fortunate you have come.
Yes!
I admit I was seeking you out myself.
Not very well.
After the events on Dargonus, it felt like an anthracite grey mantle had dropped on my shoulders. I spent a long time thinking about our very first meeting and what happened next. I cannot wait to shake off this dreary color. It was very naive of me to follow in the footsteps of the man who raised me in a gilded cage. And I was deaf to the needs of my own house. But you opened my eyes As the future Novateur, I must gain wisdom to restore House Orselio to its former glory, no matter the cost. Thank you. It will be an honor to keep guiding your vessel through the Sea of Souls, for as long as the needs of our dynasties are aligned.
Bluebell, I see what you're doing. You don't need to do that. Why don't we talk about something else?
You will hear no objection from me, Lord Captain.
Gained 175 experience. You did not mention the Starway Atlas when we met. The Atlas thing is interesting. So, honestly, I can't help but think of Neji from Naruto. In Naruto, there was this one house of ninjas. If you're not into anime, don't worry about it, just listen. And the head of the house has this like rune marking on him. And all the other people have a slave marking on them. And they usually will wear like a headband or something to hide it, but it's like right in the middle of their forehead. And if the one who is in charge is mad at the others, he can literally just make like a hand sign and they start getting tortured. And they just fall to the ground screaming. And so it's to like keep everybody in line. And it comes to a head when there are some twins that are born. They're twins, so one of them is minutes older than the other one, and one of them gets the master brand and the other gets the slave brand. And yeah, there's a lot of fallout from that. This whole thing with they called it the Atlas, so I was thinking it was a map for a long time, but now I understand it's basically that same thing. No idea what you're talking about? Oh, I was saying message retracted on your stuff. I thought you were deleting your messages or something like that. Let's see. You did not mention the Starway Atlas when we met.
I would never reveal this secret to an outsider, but you have come to my aid more than once already. The Starway Atlas is a sacred artifact of House Orselio. It helps our navigators chart a course through the warp. This crystal, the Atlas, has been inside me for as long as I can remember, giving me strength. But the others... I noticed the renegades in the palace were choked by ashen ghosts of despair when we met face to face. I swear the ghosts were reaching for their atlases.
Okay, so it's called an Atlas because it really does help you navigate. Did you know you could use it to kill other navigators? So the Atlas is some kind of crystal implanted in navigators of House Orselio at birth.
But my Atlas is much more powerful than the others. It's the Atlas of Tisiphone herself. That is what people have whispered behind my back my whole life, although no one knew for certain. But I always suspected. I simply did not wish to admit it to myself.
Certain navigators in your house fear the Atlas's powers.
Certain navigators in my house have tried to kill me more than once.
Fair.
But the tales of Tisiphone's brutality, I am beginning to wonder. What if they are all true? What if I will be a new tormentor to those who serve me?
You said you wouldn't share your secret with just anyone. Does that mean I am someone to you? Oh, the feel-good vibes. I didn't. I only meant that. Your heart stutters. A searing heat envelops your shoulders, throat, and chest. Your brain grows foggy. The by now familiar influence of Cassia's powers is intoxicating your mind more than usual. I am at ease in your company. Cassia looks away, a subtle blush blooming on her pale cheeks. The fact that her emotions radiate out from her like an aura, I'm just imagining the entire crew around us is just, oh, right. Like, look, this guy over here is T-posing. He's just like, oh my God, yes, loving life. Thank you for telling me.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.